Hello and welcome back. We are now talking about getting a job after your studies. So if your own goal after your master's degree is to get a job after your studies, what do you need? Who can you approach? What can you do? That's what we'll be talking about in this video. So you need to identify what type of job you want and the organizations that employ. Very simple. If you want to work as a researcher, I'm using my own example as always. What kind of organizations employ researchers? Universities, NGOs, international organizations like the UN, the World Bank. In my own case was the University of Oxford, but they have international NGOs like Action Aid or UNESCO and all of that. So what type of job? You know the type of job. Is it an accountant? Is it an IT technician? Is it a computer security professional? Then you know what organizations employ. Is it KPMG? Is it the big ones? So you need to know the organizations that employ. So the next thing is, again, subscribe to the appropriate mailing list. You receive information about jobs. You don't need to open everything, but you open the ones that are relevant to you. So for example, when I started out at Sussex University, I subscribed to the career services mailing list. So whenever there are job offers, they usually send out to the students. I used to open them up just to have an idea of some of the requirements they are looking for when they want to employ. As a student then, I wasn't ready to apply for any of those jobs, but from time to time I open it up. What do they require? What skills are they looking for? What do they want you to send in? Do they want you to fill an online application? Do they want you to write a CV? Do they want a cover letter? You need to know some of these things. So when you subscribe to the appropriate mailing list, you receive information about jobs. There are different types. The career services within the university is a good one to start, but as you see more job openings, you can subscribe. Again, I remember when I first heard about the University of Sussex in the UK, it was through a mailing list. So it was one of these Jobberman's mailing lists. They sent out the email saying scholarships for Nigerian students, and that's how I heard about it. Don't be afraid to subscribe to mailing list, but also when you do subscribe, because you know that these people are sending you relevant information, you should always open it up. Don't just subscribe and then your email is full of emails you don't open. You don't check your junk folder, you don't check your promotion folders. You are looking for information, so you should be opening these emails. Then, like I said earlier, you need to identify and list the requirements needed for the job you are interested in. If for example you open the ones that are relevant for your field, when you see some of these requirements, list them down so that as you're preparing for the time when you will apply, you already have at the back of your mind what you need for those jobs. Also, do your skills gap analysis and create a plan to bridge it. Like I've said before, you might find that they want you to have experience in something, but while you're studying at that point in time, you've not gotten that experience, but now you know that you need it. You can start planning on ways to accomplish that. So for example, in my case, when I started looking out for research jobs, I saw that they tended to ask for some research experience postgraduate research experience. That means outside of school. So in my head, I said, okay, what I can do is to get an internship that allows me to get this experience. So when you start opening these emails, you start identifying the things, the ones you don't have, create a plan to get them. So that's the key thing to note about getting a job. You don't just wait till you graduate. You're graduating next month, then you start looking for jobs. Then you find that most jobs are saying you must have at least 6 months experience in research. And they say, how do I get it? I'm just graduating. While you were studying, you could have been getting that experience on the side. You could have been working as a research assistant for a lecturer in your department. You could have volunteered somewhere that would help you get that experience. So these are some of the things people need to know in advance that nobody will tell you. And that's why I'm doing this today. So who can help you? You can possibly do an internship first. Like I've said already, career services in your university. So this is another key thing. If you're still struggling to identify what area you want to work in or what jobs, you can talk to them. Unlike Nigeria, where we didn't have any career service or any career advisory professional during our university days, at the University of Sussex, we have a whole department dedicated to career services. It was right by the library. I went there severally. I went there to get to attend a CV workshop. I went there to get advice on writing a CV. They talked to me about my CV. They told me some things like, oh, you don't use your surname first. You have to use your first name for your CV. They also told me about not putting my age or my state of origin on my CV. They helped me they advised me on how to write a CV. And at the end of the day, what the career advisor that I saw did, she gave me two CVs that are good and that have been used in my field. She said, look at these two CVs. Why not try to make your own look similar? And that was how I sat down and worked on my CV. Coming from Nigeria, how would I have known about the CV that people use in the UK for jobs? So you need to find out who can help you. This thing is being strategic. I did not just go to read books. I was always thinking of ways to make sure that at the end of this program, I don't go shortchange. And one important thing to note is that you've already paid for the career service as part of your tuition. Don't leave money on the table. Take advantage of it. I used the career service in different ways. I even won a competition. They asked us to do something. I forgot what it was about. We should write our experience and skills on one website like that, and they will choose the people who did it. I did it. They even gave me a gift from that. Also, when I was applying for my job, I had just finished my studies then. I went online and got an email of one of the career advisors at the University of Sussex. I sent her an email saying, I am applying for so and so job. This is the requirements they asked me for. I have put together my CV and my cover letter. Would you be able to help me review it and give me your feedback? And she was amazing. She did. She looked through my cover letter. She said, okay, why don't you add this, write this, and every other thing looks good to me. Good luck in your job search. Free of charge, because I'd already paid for it in my tuition. Please make sure you take advantage of this. Don't be ashamed to ask for help. I will keep saying this through the rest of this video. Know who can help you. Identify who can help you achieve your goals. The career services are there for you. They can advise you. You don't pay for it. You just create a time to go there, sit with them, or they give you an appointment and they take you through any challenges you have. So I've already said this, they offer you help with your CV and your cover letter. Also your lecturers, there are some lecturers that are just amazing. One of my lecturers also looked through my CV and he helped me out. He was also the one that wrote a referral for me, and he keeps writing referrals for me. But if you don't have a relationship with them, you are not able to ask them for these things. I'll talk more about building relationships with your lecturers in the next module. So that's it. And lastly, conferences. So conferences are another thing. I've said this before, I keep saying it again. You can get a job at a conference. It happened to me even though I didn't take it up. When you attend conferences intentionally now, you find a conference in your field. So for example, at Oxford, they have the African Business Forum every year. At that conferences, there are key industry players that come in. They talk, you network with them, you ask them intelligent questions, you talk to them after their presentation, they give you their card, you follow up. I've said this in the previous video. You can get jobs, when you target them, especially And even, for example, if you don't want to stay in the country where you study, you want to come back to Nigeria, look out for such African conferences, African business conference. They have so many of them in London, in Oxford, in all the big, in the Ivy Leagues. They always have an African business conference or forum or seminar or something like this. You target them. You put up intelligent questions. You allow yourself to be noticed. You dress well. You present yourself well, and then these things can help you meeting these people, and it can also inspire you as well, and you just really broaden your network. And for me, I attended a conference where I present. If you can present at some of these things, it will also be amazing. It's not always possible, but there are opportunities. I had the opportunity to present my dissertation at a conference. One of the delegates at that conference is a professor from Nigeria working with an international development organization. He came to me and said, I have been looking for a research assistant, someone with the kind of skills that you have. Would you like to return to Nigeria to work with me? I said, oh, I already have a job here. Then I started working at Oxford. I couldn't take that up. So you see, it's possible to make some connections that can lead to bigger things in Nigeria or even in the country where you are studying. So you need to know the conferences that are available, ask questions, Google it, search online, and then position yourself intentionally to attend them. So that's all for getting a job after your studies. Whatever questions you may have, we'll be able to discuss them during the call. The next video will talk about going into entrepreneurship after your studies. See you there.